Good morning, my name is Mark, and I'm going to bring a reflection this morning on John chapter 16, verse 33. And this verse reads, "In this world you will have trouble, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." I think there's many interesting points about this verse. The first one that occurs to me is that it's a flat statement. There's no equivocation about it. There may be trouble, there might be problems, you may have difficulties. It is, you will have trouble. And I think it's a very realistic statement that the world is troublesome. Now, whether that is the normal troubles of everyday life, which everybody suffers from. Nobody's life is smooth, regardless of which impression they give. Nobody's life is ever fine all the time. Thinking of how we usually interact with each other, somebody says, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm fine, thank you." A throwaway line, often as not. But we will have trouble just in the normal everyday course of life. Now, that could be major problems, or it could be minor problems. Who knows? But there will be issues. Just because we are human beings and we're living in a world that's full of complications. And of course, at the moment, it's even more complicated with COVID-19 around. There are signs of hope, perhaps, as I'm making this reflection now. And I hope by the time it's broadcast, things are looking a bit better still. But it's full of trouble, this world. And then there are the problems that we face as individuals, the individual issues that we face because of the particular situation we find ourselves in. Rather than the generic issues I was thinking of a few moments ago, these are the particular ones caused by our own circumstance. And again, there's nothing unusual about these. They are part of everyday life. They're to be expected. And as Jesus says, there will be trouble. Now, again, some of these will be small troubles. Some of these will be very big troubles. Some of these we may be able to cope with. Some of these we may have trouble coping with. And we need all the support networks around us that we can get from friends, from family, from those who know us and those we trust to share our deeper problems with. And then there may be particular problems because of our faith, which imposes stresses and strains into the situations we find ourselves. So as Jesus says, there will be troubles. There will always be troubles. But, he goes on to say, be of good cheer, for I have overcome this world. The troubles are still there. They haven't gone away, but Jesus has more power than the troubles that may surround us have. And if we allow him to be part of our lives, then he will give us that ability to walk with him through the troubles, walk with him in the troubles, because he has overcome the power of this world and all the effects it may have on us. So we can walk with him knowing that he's walking with us. So to pick up another verse where it says, keep in step with the Spirit. If we keep in step with Jesus' will for our life, then his authority and his power will be with us to help us and sustain us in the midst of the various troubles that we trip over. And so what is our attitude to trouble? It's almost, well, here's a problem. It may or may not have been dealt with, but there's another one coming up straight behind it, whatever that sort of trouble may be. It may be the usual day-to-day stuff that we all have to cope with. It may be much bigger stuff. Who knows? But Jesus is always there with us. And I do like the footsteps or footprints story of the person who had a dream and dreamt that he saw two sets of footprints walking along a seashore. And this was a pattern of his life. He was walking with Jesus, except at particular times you could only see one step of footprints. And he was able to ask the Lord, why could I only see one step of footprints? Because that was at the most difficult time in my life. And Jesus said, I didn't leave you, I was carrying you through those difficult times. And I think the other thing to bring out from this verse is it's the very last verse that's recorded of Jesus' time with his disciples at the Last Supper. And it's often been said that the first thing we say is important. We make a first impression, and the last thing that we say at a particular time is most important because it's the last thing. It closes off that particular event or speech or time or whatever it may be. And this is how Jesus closes off his telling of many truths to the disciples at the Last Supper. Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. And my thought of a song to go with this would be Amazing Grace, because it is amazing to think that Jesus has overcome the world, and all that we can see happening in it, Jesus has overcome it.